Okay, now you get it.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Sperging Out Podcast. My name is Mitch Grace. I am the author of the book Growing Up with Asperger's Lessons Learned and Shareable Wisdom on Amazon, available in audiobook, paperback, and Kindle formats. And as always, I am joined by my co host extraordinaire.
Hello. Nice. Happy to be here. I'm an in-home therapist for adults with autism. And yeah.
So, thank you for being here as always. And so, we haven't gotten a whole lot of comments on our podcast, with the exception of the Sonic the Hedgehog episode. But from people that have listened to our podcast, I've been informed that co-host extraordinaire and I have a pretty good rapport, that we tend to riff pretty well, and so we figured, how about for this episode and the next, let's just try riffing, just see how it goes, see if it's organic, and see if y'all, the audience, enjoy this type of content as opposed to our typical autism-focused related episodes. Not that we're running out of things to talk about, but we just want to mix it up every now and again.
There'll be autism in there somewhere. Don't worry.
Yeah, I hate how accurate that is. So, to get us started, co-host extraordinaire, Marvel or Star Wars? What do you want to start with?
Marvel or Star Wars?
Yes.
Sir, would you like this turd on the ground or some dirt? Which one tastes better to you? Let's start with Marvel, since the new movie just came out.
Yes, Captain America: Brave New World, starring Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford.
I'd like to note that I think Anthony Mackie is a fantastic actor.
Yeah, he's solid.
And I wish they didn't make him be in these terrible movies.
Yeah, like, remember how in Winter Soldier, like, they established that the Falcon character, Sam Wilson, that's the character's name. Remember how they established him as running like a support group for vets?
Yes.
And don't you love it how Marvel did absolutely nothing with it?
Yeah, right. Well, remember when he was like his own superhero called the Falcon, and he had like the coolest thing where he could fly around, had machine guns, like he's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, you're gonna be the next Captain America, and it's like no offense, it feels a bit like a downgrade. Where it's like, you could just continue being the hero he is.
Yeah, I mean,
it felt like they were setting up in all the movies that Bucky, the Winter Soldier, would become the next Captain America, and that would be his like new superhero name, so it's not associated with all the terrorist stuff he did.
I don't know.
He's, Cap's friend.
I gotta say I don't agree with that, because they established that he did, under mind control of Hydra, he did do some heinous shit, and he needed to do that rehab session in Wakanda. So Sam has no such baggage, and like the instant Cap met him, he was a good person. So it made, like, when Bucky kind of in Endgame, when old Cap gives Falcon the shield and Bucky kind of nods, I'm like, yeah, this makes the most sense. So
yeah, I also don't like that scene in Endgame.
Look, the fact that old Cap gave Sam the shield, or just the old Cap?
Old Cap at all exists. He went back in time and went, you know what? I'm not stopping 9/11. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of implications with Captain America going back to 1945.
Yeah, he jumped back to World War II and then was like, I want to live with my wife, Peggy? Is that her name?
Peggy Carter, yeah.
Peggy Carter. But also, I'm not going to help people.
Like, there's so like, he didn't stop, like, what did he not stop? What historic atrocities did Captain America not stop?
Avengers 1, Avengers 2, 9/11. JFK's assassination. There's a lot of things he was privy to, being a time traveler. He could have made the world a better place, and then he was like, nah, I don't feel like it.
Again, yeah, there's so many implications with that. Like, and that, like, it's not like the world stopped having dictators after World War II. Like, like Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, Augusto Pinochet, Fidel Castro.
Yeah, what happened in North Korea? Do you think in the Marvel Universe the Avengers like invaded North Korea at any point?
Oh, that's a good point. I don't even know. Like, because there's actually, in the Marvel comics that was loosely adapted into the video game Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, there's a story called there are multiple stories called Secret Wars. So like, I think in the second Secret Wars, before the third one, which is the most famous one with God Emperor Doom, spoilers. So this Secret Wars is where Nick Fury takes like a very small group of superheroes to essentially do a regime change in Latveria after Doom is deposed. and like a democratically elected leader is elected, and they depose her. Like,
Okay.
So it's Nick Fury, Iron Man, Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Daredevil, and Luke Cage, and a few others I'm missing. But it's very small. It's very Black Ops, very shady situation.
Okay.
And they go into Latveria and depose her, and it's real and it has some ramifications throughout the Marvel universe. And so
That's wild to think that like they had comics where it's like, oh, we have a group of superheroes and they're going to depose a air quotes dictator. It's like, oh, that's like American history in a nutshell. That's when has that worked out well for America? I like the idea of just transposing superheroes into those situations. So, like,
yes,
you're writing out the Bay of Pigs, but you got like Wolverine there,
right, and then the way the video game Ultimate Alliance 2 adapts it is that was so in the video game, I doubt this happens in the comics, but the Latvian dictator survives the coup, and she comes back and does a massive mass killing terrorist attack in New York City, and that was one of the events that triggers the Civil War event.
Oh, okay.
Because in the comics, it's not. In the movies, it's hey, this event in Sokovia where a bunch of civilians died. The United States.
Yeah.
In the comics, and the video game shows this as well. To its credit, there is a reality show of superheroes called The New Warriors, and these superheroes failed to apprehend a supervillain named Nitro, whose main superpower, as if you can guess, is exploding, and he explodes right next to an elementary school, and so like 500 people are dead, most of them being children.
Grim.
And that is what and I think Hulk goes on a rampage in Las Vegas, but that's like a minor thing, and that is what kickstarts the Superhero Registration Act, which kickstarts the Civil War arc in the comics.
Yeah, I would start. Yeah, I would start making superheroes register or something if they blew up a elementary school.
Yeah. So. Anyway, Captain America: New Brave World, right?
Brave New World, yeah. What a subtitle, by the way, Brave New World. I mean, it's actually a fitting subtitle for like the sort of themes the movie has, but not really.
Are we gonna get into spoilers?
I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it.
You sure? Because I've already been spoiled.
I mean, there's not really anything to spoil. Everything's in the trailer.
That's a good point.
Like the big twist is literally the most advertised image they used for the movie, and you're like, it's not really a twist if it's what's in every trailer and the front cover.
Well, I mean, there's a different character that was kept from the marketing materials.
Oh yeah.
Producer, do you know what we're referring to? Okay, our producer's shaking his head, so I guess we're not gonna spoil that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even really like no one would care. That's so the problem with the movie. I don't know. Have you seen the movie?
I don't care. I've been spoiled.
Okay, I saw the movie.
Yeah.
It's boring. That's the problem. It's just like not interesting at any point.
Oh, really?
So like everything happens from beginning to end, and you're like, okay, what was the point of this movie? Nothing happened, and the villain is the supposedly very smart. The movie makes a point to tell you how smart he is, even though every part of his plan is extremely dumb.
Yes, a producer is showing us something, and to answer his question, yes, it's who you think it is.
Yeah, and it's just. He's just like every time a superhero. Anytime most movies are like, this guy's really smart. He's Machiavellian. It's like if you tell me that, you shouldn't have to tell me that.
Because like Marvel actually did that before with Zemo in Civil War, and they actually did it a lot better.
Yes, because Zemo didn't tell you he's the smartest man in the world. He was just very smart.
Yeah, and then like his. I mean, now that I think about it, he has a very similar plan to what that character has. Like,
actually, they have the same exact motivation and plan.
The motivation's the same? I thought...
Well, they have similar reasoning. They're both disenfranchised with the U.S. government. Zemo's more disenfranchised with superheroes, whereas this villain's more disenfranchised specifically with the U.S. government. Because
of what that one character who's in this movie did in that previous movie where both characters appeared in 2008 with Edward Norton?
Sorta, yeah. I mean, kinda. There is loose ties, but they kind of know that no one watched that old Hulk movie, so
yeah,
they pretty much just rewrite it where it's like he's just really mad at the U.S. government for being really crappy to him, which is fair.
Yeah,
but
what is it? Oh, is this? Oh God, producer, you may have to cut this out. Is this character Luigi Mangione?
I know, right?
Commentary from this podcast, but
but yeah, the movie overall is pretty boring.
yeah, I love this sequel to the Incredible Hulk that doesn't have the Hulk in it.
You do get to see Harrison Ford's butt cheeks.
Why are you telling me this?
I just thought, I thought it would be, that's probably the highlight of the movie, unfortunately.
Why? I'm baffled. Marvel thought that was a good idea?
It makes sense in the context of the scene.
Okay.
There's a lot of plot involved.
All right.
Between those cheeks.
Why? Okay. Why is Marvel... Okay, so I remember in Thor Love and Thunder, like, they strip Thor practically naked, and in that movie, and, like, obviously his nether region is covered with someone's hair, and like the point of that scene is like, okay, Chris Hemsworth is chiseled like a Norse god, so yeah, this is for the ladies in the audience to turn up the humidity in that movie theater. So
yeah, I don't know.
Why Harrison Ford, who's 82 years old?
I feel like you'll be asking that question a lot during Brave New World. It's just like, why is any of this happening? They introduce another comic book villain. Oh gosh, what's his name?
Oh, is that Giancarlo Esposito's character?
Yeah, that
Sidewinder.
Sidewinder. Except you wouldn't know he's the Sidewinder if they didn't say it in the movie, because he has nothing to do with the character from the comics. He just shows up for like genuinely like 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
I was
because he's just a dude with a gun, and then the Falcon just beats him up, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
I was heard that Giancarlo Esposito's what's the word? Presence in the movie is solely due to reshoots.
I think so too, because when the movie first started, they had like the guy who plays Bruce Banner, they had Captain America, they had like almost all the Avengers on the cast, and then slowly but surely they all just started dropping off of the production. So I'm guessing they had to rewrite like the whole movie like 4 or 5 times.
Oh my goodness. Poor Anthony Mackie. He's like, all right, this is my time. This is, I get to be the headliner for a Marvel movie and not a sidekick. Then this comes out.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen the interviews with him before the movie came out?
No.
They're awkward. He is clearly being fed lines to read, and he does not want to read them. Does not want to say them, and he has no, like, you could tell he had no faith in the movie. You could tell no one really in the production had any faith in the movie. He has one great story about working with Harrison Ford, where he was like, oh, I love working with Harrison Ford. He just shows up on set today and goes, let's shoot this piece of shit, let's go. And he tells his story in like a way where you're like, that sounds exactly like something Harrison Ford would say. Yeah. And also Harrison Ford clearly did mean this movie is gonna be a piece of shit. Because he doesn't care anymore. Yeah, he's 82. He just is in movies because they give him a paycheck.
Exactly. He's 82 years old. William, I think the actor who played the character before Harrison Ford, William Hurt, was younger than Harrison Ford is when he passed.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's in his late 70s. Harrison Ford is in his early 80s.
Oh, my gosh. He looks great, though. And he's good in the movie.
I've heard from the reviews I've seen that Harrison Ford's performance is and character is one of the few genuinely good things about it.
Yeah. That's really all I can say with the movie. It's just it's not like aggressively bad in any way. It's just very forgettable.
That's unfortunate. I had a question about Harrison Ford, but I think the one movie he's genuinely been excited to make within the past decade was Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, and the Indiana Jones films, because he loves that character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he really likes Indiana Jones. Which is fair, because Indiana Jones is it's him.
Yeah. It's did you ever play the Indiana Jones video game that came out?
Yeah, it was really good.
Well, wasn't there a bunch of pre-release, I'm not going to say controversy, but weren't a lot of people skeptical about the game because Bethesda was making it, and a certain production interviews were like, really?
Yeah, so I don't know about the production interviews part, but yeah, people were really skeptical because it's I think it's a movie tie-in game for Indiana Jones,
that's fair.
Where it's like, it's gonna be like schlock, but it turned out to be a really good immersive sim. It nails the Indiana Jones tone. There's one scene at the beginning of the game where it takes place in Nazi-occupied Italy, so you're in Rome at the Vatican. Are you at the Vatican? I think you're at the Vatican, yeah. And you're dressed up as a priest to sneak around the Vatican, obviously. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to leave this room, and a Nazi grabs you and says, please, Father, I need to confess. And Indy's like, oh, okay. So Indy's like just annoyed. He's like, I don't want to do this. So he's sitting in the confessional. He's like, yeah. Tell me whatever you did. And the Nazi goes on to talk about how he cheated on his wife, and he's like, oh, that's awful. You shouldn't do that with his wife's mother. And Indy goes, you did what? And he goes, father. And he's like, dude, that's messed up. And the Nazi's like, are you a real priest? So Indy punches him through the confessional to knock him out. And it was like the peak of like Indiana Jones. Like it felt like every cutscene in the game just feels like a scene from a movie. It's so well done in that regard. And Troy Baker does a great Harrison Ford impression.
Oh, really? Oh,
really
that's Troy Baker doing Indiana Jones?
Yes. During the Game Awards, they had Harrison Ford and Troy Baker up there, and Harrison Ford was like, I didn't know this guy could do such a good impression. I would just be paying him to do all my roles.
I mean, shoot. And then Troy Baker's a young gun, so like he's going to be around for a while, too.
Yeah. But yeah, the game is fantastic.
Is it my thing going into it was like, are they just going to do Uncharted? Because Uncharted, Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider games are all inspired by Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I mean it kind of has an Uncharted vibe, but it doesn't play like Uncharted.
Okay.
Honestly, the Uncharted vibe begins and ends with like the opening of the game and some stuff later on.
Okay.
The game starts with Indiana Jones is curating a museum and a giant breaks in, like just a dude who's like 3 feet taller than a normal human.
Oh my!
And he steals something, and then later you find out I think the guy's like an angel, or something like a biblical angel, but like they've been hiding and living in like native lands.
Who wrote this? The guy who wrote Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the vibe. It kind of hits that Indiana Jones vibe where it's like grounded in reality, but there's all this mythology kind of interweaved in, and supernatural just sprinkled in there a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, like Ark of the Covenant, where everything's super grounded up until you get to the Ark of the Covenant, and then you're like, oh, there's actual magic here.
Yeah, that's when Steven Spielberg was like, all right, I have all these Nazis here, and I'm going to kill them all the most gruesome way possible.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the game's fantastic, and just has that tone. Like, whipping a gun out of a Nazi's hand and then beating him up with your fist, or bashing him over the head with a guitar is always funny.
Yes.
And the Nazis are written just like they are in the movie, where they're, like, silly. Where it's like they're cartoonishly evil at times, but they're also just kind of like dorky. When you're fighting them, they'll just have funny lines, yelling stuff in German while you whip them in the head with a whip.
Yeah. Speaking of Nazis in video games, did you ever play the new Wolfenstein games? New Order and the new Colossus?
Yeah, I liked both of those. I liked the first one more than the second, but I like the second still. And then I never played Youngblood because it looked horrible.
Yeah, I watched a retrospective of the new Wolfenstein games recently because I think it's been a bit since Youngblood came out, and the series just went in a because at the time I saw it, I think I had just watched a trailer for Doom: The Dark Ages, which is a prequel to the new Doom games that have been coming out, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I recalled that Wolfenstein was not a Doom-esque shooter, but it's like, hey, it's harkening back to that style of gameplay. But it came out like a few years before Doom 2016 did. So I'm like, okay, I want to know more about this. And then, so I was just wanting if you had played those games and what you thought of them.
Oh, I thought they were great. Yeah. So like the first game was just fantastic from top to bottom, and that expansion DLC, Old Blood, added the supernatural Wolfenstein stuff with zombies and stuff. It was perfect. Nice. I mean, there's a lot of, I don't think I could come up with any faults for the game. The levels are really good. Shooting the guns all feel good. The story and BJ's characterization is perfect, where he's like an unhinged psychopath, but he's still the good guy. Mm-hmm. You're like, this guy's the good guy, but if we weren't at war, this guy might be a hazard to society.
Yeah.
Like at the very beginning of the game, you're going to kill Hitler, and you're invading his castle or whatever, and like you'll see a big painting of Hitler, and he's like, Hitler, I can't wait to carve his heart out. And you're like, okay, this guy's an actual psychopath. Mm-hmm. But at least he's our psychopath.
Right? Glad he's on our side type of deal.
Yeah, and the second game does a good job. The level design gets a little wonky, and like the stealth segments aren't really fun. The second game commits the cardinal sin of having infinitely spawning enemies at certain parts. Or what feels like infinitely spawning enemies, and it's like, I don't need this to be Call of Duty. I just want it to play like Wolfenstein. Yeah. And then Youngblood added those awful RPG elements. So like enemies will have levels, and if you're trying to fight an enemy who's too high of a level, your bullets will just not do damage to them.
Why?
And nothing is more unimmersive than walking up to a dude and shooting him in the face with a shotgun and watching his health bar not move. And you're like, I don't give a shit what level he is. Humans don't have levels.
Why? That is the exact same problem I have with the new Assassin's Creed games, like from Origins to Odyssey, or I think that's what the one in ancient Greece is called, and then Valhalla, and then Mirage, and
Yeah, I never actually played any of them. I played Mirage. Mirage is the one that's supposed to be in the Middle East, right?
yes,
Yeah,
and
that's the only new Assassin's Creed I've played since Brotherhood.
and then Shadows is the one that's coming out in Japan, which people are already pissed about.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's like they turned the Assassin's Creed games from a stealth action game series to an action adventure series with enemies that have levels and whatnot, and they got like, so one of the key things in this, I mean, you play Brotherhood, so like you sneak up someone, insta blade him, like hidden blade him, insta kill. That's not in any of, well, I don't know if it's in Valhalla, but I know it wasn't in Origins. I know it wasn't in Odyssey, and then it may have been in Valhalla, and I think it was in Mirage, but it still had those RPG elements to it. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, and the way they're handled isn't very good. Like, I understand wanting to add RPG elements or some level of difficulty because those first Assassin's Creed games, 1 through Brotherhood, are all too easy. Because you just counter someone and then you kill them, and it's like, oh, that's the whole game. You don't really have to put any effort. The games are great, but I can understand wanting to add difficulty, but making it so it's leveled, where it's just like, oh, this guy looks exactly like this other guy, but he's 5 levels higher. So now my attacks just don't do damage, and it's like I'll just have him parry my like counter move, so I have to beat him normally.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you ever wait? So the last game you played was Brotherhood. So you didn't play Assassin's Creed 3 or 4?
No, I loaded up 3 once on PC, but it was really laggy at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't enjoy the. What was this? The Revolutionary America?
Yeah, Revolutionary War.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. You go from the beautiful architecture of Italy, Rome, the Middle East, to trees and snow, dog.
Yeah,
it doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, not exactly sprawling metropolises. Wait, so that means so there was so you didn't play the third Ezio game, Revelations?
Oh no, I did play Revelations.
Okay.
Brotherhood was after. Oh, I got them mixed up. I played Revelations.
Okay,
I played all the Ezio games.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, 2 is where's 2 set?
Italy and Rome.
Right, Italy, but like
And
what city in it? What is Assassin's Creed 2 is in what's
I don't know the name of the city. I don't remember.
I'll remember it later. It's going to drive me up the nuts or drive me nuts up the wall. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is set in Rome. Assassin's Creed Revelations is set in Constantinople before like as it's being taken over by the Ottomans. And then Assassin's Creed 3 is Revolutionary America. Assassin's Creed 4 is set during the Golden Age of piracy. And that's why I'm shocked you haven't played that game, because that was
I heard people really like the pirate ship stuff.
Yes.
But I wasn't sure. I remember getting mixed like reads on everything else in the game. Everyone's like, the piracy is really cool, but once you're off the boat, it's like, oh.
The off the boat stuff is fine. What a lot of people are complaining about is that there are on foot way too many tailing missions.
Yeah,
and
those are the worst missions in all the series.
Yes, I hate those so much. But like there are other missions in Assassin's Creed 4 that are alright, and the story's okay. Yeah. Like the arc the character goes through is a bit more believable. It's not as good as Ezio's, but not as bad as Connor's, the protagonist from Assassin's Creed 3. And then after 4 was Unity, which is French Revolution.
Yeah, that one was broken on release on PC.
Yeah, I didn't.
Unity, I think, was the one that just like was the one that turned me off of the series, because like every release Unity onward was completely broken on PC on release, essentially.
Yeah,
where it's like, I'm just not going to play your games if they're all going to be broken.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, since then I don't know if the games have launched on PC okay, but it does seem like more and more video game companies are steering away from consoles, and
yeah,
if they are porting it to PC, they're like, all right, we're gonna actually make sure it's good.
Yeah, I think Sony is a big helper there when they started porting all their exclusive titles to PC.
Yeah, like Spider-Man, God of War,
Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us.
Which are all great games.
Yes. I had this conversation with a few friends recently, and consoles are think of it this way: Microsoft has a Game Pass on Steam or on PC, and then they've already ported a lot of their library onto the PC, like Halo, and I mean that's their flagship franchise. Destiny.
Yeah.
Well, Destiny was already on the PC, but you get my point. And then Sony has been slowly integrating their games onto PC as well. So now I'm thinking, as a consumer who has a PC and is like, I don't see a reason to buy an Xbox or a PlayStation. I think the only console I'm going to have moving forward is the second Nintendo Switch because I want to play Nintendo games.
Yeah. Well, it would also help if Xbox or Sony made good games. That would be great too.
Yeah.
Because like God of War Ragnarok was awesome, and then after that, all the first party titles, I can't think of good ones. Especially for Xbox. Xbox really has not released anything really good in a while.
Did you not like Spider-Man 2?
No, I didn't like either Spider-Man game though. I felt like they were too repetitive.
Huh. Did you ever play the Arkham series?
Yeah, I liked the first one.
Okay.
And then Arkham City was fine, but it also reaches that point where you get bored and it becomes too repetitive. I did like the atmosphere though. It was really good.
Interesting.
But I didn't play Arkham Knight because everyone hated it on release, and I think it was another game that was broken on PC on release. And I'm just not gonna...
Arkham Knight has an infamously bad PC port, but the console version ran just fine, and it's interesting reading reviews of Arkham Knight that came out at the time because the reviews were split. It's like, all right, on console this game is great, but on PC the game is shit. So
I do remember the advertising for Arkham Knight being really funny because like in the opening trailer, like, oh, who's this guy? And then everyone's like, is that the Red Hood from the comics? One of the most famous characters in all of Batman. Is that the Red Hood? He's got a red helmet. Is that the Red Hood? And then they all came out in interviews, and the developers were like, it's not the Red Hood, guys. We promise. It's not the Red Hood. It's a different character. We made him up. And then you play the game, and it's the fucking Red Hood.
Yeah, they fucking
lied.
lied.
They just straight up lied, like, openly and directly, because their twist was called instantly.
Oh,
Turns out if you make your twist one of the most iconic characters in the entire series, people will immediately know.
Exactly. Like, a lot of people, like, swore off Rocksteady because of Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, people forget Rocksteady's reputation was pretty shaky at that, in the release of Arkham Knight anyways. People forget that.
Yeah. Oh, God, Suicide Squad's awful, too.
Yeah, I didn't
play it because I looked at it once, and that's all it takes for you to be like, I ain't playing that.
Yeah, it didn't look fun.
I have a soapbox to get on.
Okay,
what's wrong? Why have all modern video games decided to have the worst UI and HUD ever? Like, they're all cluttered beyond belief. Avowed just came out. Obsidian Entertainment, their Skyrim game.
Wait, what?
Avowed?
No. Wait, Obsidian made that?
Yeah.
But the same people who did Outer Worlds and Fallout New Vegas?
Yes, unfortunately. I don't know what happened.
What? Skyrim killer?
Yeah.
What?
So I played Avowed because I thought, hey, might be good. It's not. Spoilers.
Well, the instant you said I need to get on my soapbox, I realized, oh, he's about to tear into something.
Yeah. So the overarching point I was trying to make is that like UI in modern games most of the time looks like crap. They're all, even like God of War. I think God of War is great. The UI in God of War is horrible. Some of the elements are aesthetically pleasing, but like when you open the inventory, like modern UI has this generic look to it, and I don't know how to put it. Like it sounds so cliche, but it lacks soul. It lacks character.
Yeah.
So you open the God of War UI, and there's 10,000 different things to read. There's 25 freaking tabs to go into, and just trying to do basic things like switch armor can get really tedious. And then the UI on top of that is just ugly as sin. And it's like, dog, I'm playing a God of War game. You know I'm just going to equip the stuff that does the most damage. Just give me that. Like, just make it upgrades throughout the story.
Yeah.
I don't need an Assassin's Creed UI with rarity levels and loot drops. Like, every game now is using these similar UI elements. Suicide Squad, yada yada, kills the Justice League. The UI in that game's horrible looking.
Yeah.
Avowed, same thing. Horrible UI. The menus are awful, and the general HUD is just cluttered with crap and has a soulless, just square, flat, modern design. And you're like, I'm in a fantasy realm that's overtaken by, like, godlike mushroom floral deity. Mm-hmm. Put that in the UI. Add a flower. Make it look nice. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 came out.
Oh, yes, you were...
and the UI for that's phenomenal.
Oh, really?
Everything is designed in this old medieval art style where like you have funny little sketches. So like your sneak meter is a little bunny rabbit in knight armor. And it's drawn in that silly kind of like Monty Python-esque art style. And you're like, everything in the game has this gorgeous, unique look to it. And it's great. And the game shotguns a billion different data points at you. Like when you open the inventory, there's so many stats for every item. But the inventory is aesthetically pleasing, so when you're going through the stats, you're enjoying taking in the vibe.
Right.
Meanwhile, you open up Avowed, and then the UI is just like it's just lines with colors, and you're like, soulless.
So you were, when we weren't recording the show, you were actually you were talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and how like excited you were for it, and now that it's out,
it's fantastic. It's great. It's just super good. It kind of skips some of the difficulties of the first game, because in the first game you start off as like a legitimately mentally deficient peasant who can't read.
Oh.
Like you're an idiot. Genuinely, you're the dumb. I mean, Henry's still an idiot in the second game, but like in the first game you can barely hold a sword. You can't really wear armor because it's heavy, and you're just dumb. You can't read. You can't do a lot of stuff. In the second game, you start off with the ability to do a lot of things, like because it makes sense story-wise, because it's a continuous story of the same character. So obviously he's not going to forget how to read between games. So like the startup's a lot quicker, and you get into the action, and the pacing of combat and everything's just more fun. And the writing is great, and the story is great, and everything is fantastic. I mean, like, I have nothing negative to say at the game. It's so much fun.
Nice.
I think the only problem I would have with it is that like you unlock all the perks pretty quickly. So you reach like max level essentially really fast, and then you're a little too strong.
And is that on like the higher difficulty settings, or?
I don't think there is a higher difficulty setting.
Oh, I haven't played these games.
I want to say I must have started it on normal. If there is a hardcore difficulty, I doubt it affects combat. Yeah. Because in the first game, there's a hardcore difficulty, but it just makes it harder to save and remove certain UI elements to make the game more immersive.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, would recommend.
All right.
Yeah. Unlike Avowed, which I would not recommend.
Did you play Avowed?
Yes.
For how long?
It was only like 3 hours before the dialogue made me want to like actually die in real life, so I just uninstalled it.
Oh man.
Yeah, the game is beautiful. The combat's actually pretty good. The attacks are weighty and the magic's nice.
And you're referring to Kingdom Come real well.
Sorry, I'm talking about Avowed.
You are talking about Avowed?
Yeah.
The world's beautiful and the combat's good?
The combat's good and the world's beautiful, but the characters are all hideous. And when they talk to you, you just want to kill yourself in real life. Because they had that Dragon Age Veilguard issue where they talk like HRs in the room.
Oh.
Like they all talk in this stilted, I will now read my exposition dialogue to you, and you're like, oh my fucking god. Obsidian made this game? The guys who wrote Pillars of Eternity?
The guys who wrote...
who wrote Fallout New Vegas?
The guys... I was about to say the guys who... Or the people, whoever, I don't know who's on that staff, who wrote the Outer Worlds, but then I'm thinking about it, and like... I'm not sure if them writing Outer Worlds is entirely a compliment, because...
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
Outer Worlds is very... The character stuff is good. Like, the way they write certain characters are good. I'll admit that, but... Like, the overall tone of the game is, like, very anti-corporate. Not that being anti-corporate is a bad thing to have in your video game, but it's the point where it's like it's its one-trick pony.
Yeah, that was my issue with the game. At first, I was like, haha, this is funny. These corporations are dumb. And then every planet you go to, it's the same joke. The corporation is dumb. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
it's the same joke every single time. Every line of dialogue in that game is about corporation dumb. And you're like, yeah, I know, but you got to write more than that.
And I remember seeing in an interview, I think it was Game Informer. I remember when they were a thing, or I guess remember when they were relevant. Actually, who am I kidding? No, they weren't ever. Well, I take that back. In the early 2000s, before the internet like became huge, like late 2000s, early 2010s. Yeah, Game Informer had its value. One of the writers or guest directors of the game said, "Oh, we're not." We didn't write the game as like as an attempt to bash Bethesda or anything. We're not trying to do that. But then you play the game like, motherfucker, do you think we're deaf?
Yeah, I was like, it's pretty heavy handed on that one too.
Like that is a blatant lie. Like this is very much a fuck you Bethesda game.
Yeah, we're mad at Bethesda, so we're gonna make a game where corporations are evil and dumb.
That's
which
it's,
is a funny bit, but it overstays its welcome.
yeah, I'm now that you've told me Avowed the writing of Avowed is bad. I'm very nervous about Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, Avowed is really not good writing wise. I mean, it's just so bland. And this is sort of a spoiler, but not really. They advertised Avowed that you could side with the bad guys and you could be evil. That's a fucking lie.
Oh, really?
You just can't. It's just not true. You can't be evil. Your dialogue options are essentially Fallout 4 level of like yes, 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 and yes with some flair, but it's still yes. Like you can't say anything mean. You can't steal from people. You can't kill NPCs. The world does not react to anything you do. You could literally pick up items in towns, like you literally are robbing people in town, and NPCs would be like, "I saw you take that," and you're like, "Oh, they wrote, oh," and then nothing happens. They don't react. They don't call the guards. It's like, oh, so they took the time to put in dialogue responses of NPCs being like, "You're stealing from me," without any actual consequences.
I hate modern gaming.
It's this this YouTuber Tara JK, I think is his YouTube channel, which no endorsement there. I don't know. I don't watch all his videos, but he did one where he was just comparing Oblivion to Avowed, and it's painful to watch because Oblivion the NPCs react and there's a lot more character. The HUD looks better. Like just Oblivion is more detailed and interesting in every way compared to a modern game which came out like a week ago.
Is Oblivion the game where the meme, stop, you have violated the law?
Yes.
Okay, that's where that game comes from?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you don't get that in Avowed because you can't commit crimes in Avowed. Like, the guards don't arrest you for anything.
That's dumb.
Crazy, right?
That's dumb. I want to talk about a good fantasy game. Did you ever play Witcher 3?
Yes, love Witcher 3.
Yeah, that's
so good.
I've been getting into that series again because I saw online that they're doing the Witcher 3 in concert. So,
yeah. The music's also really, really good.
Yeah, like when you're in a city and like the main, I don't want to call it the main theme of the game, but it's like a musical piece you hear quite frequently throughout the game is, they have like percussionists, like a tambourine almost, and then you have the ladies going, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like you got the string instruments going in the background. Like that's good. I want to hear that live. And so they're apparently, from what I read, they're going to do a show in Boston for some thing. I don't know if it's the Game Awards or whatever, but they're going to do a show in Boston. Then they have a bunch of tour dates listed in Europe. Shocker. But they haven't announced anything in North America yet. But they are coming to North America and doing a tour.
So is it an orchestra or is it going to be like the band?
Because
a lot of the songs in The Witcher 3 are based on a folk rock band, punk band almost.
I think the website made it look like it was the orchestra.
Okay, I'm still down with that.
Oh, I'm down
awesome.
too. So I'm gonna replay that game, but once the North American tour dates get released and I get tickets, I'm gonna replay Witcher 3 on PC this time, but with a controller because I tried playing. Well, okay, I take that back. Everyone that I've know that has played Witcher 3 on PC, whether it be online, in person, whatever, they've told me that they tried playing it with a keyboard and mouse and that it just wasn't fun.
I played it with the keyboard and mouse, but maybe I'm just used to it because I've been a PC gamer forever.
Fair.
I mean, the game's like, the combat plays itself for the most part.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, Witcher 3 is pretty easy, I'd say. Dodge and attack.
Yeah, like I appreciate how you can counter humans when they attack you, but you can't counter monsters.
Yes,
so that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Like from a gameplay perspective, motherfucker, I want to cut this monster's limbs off, but I can't because I can't counter monsters. That makes sense, but as a player, I'm just like, oh man, that sucks. And then
you can still block him though. It took me a while in my first playthrough to realize like blocking drowners is a genuine strategy. Like they stagger you if you block them, but you still don't get hit.
Yeah, drowners. It was so satisfying. Like when I first encounter him in the game, it's like, oh god, and I have to whack him a bunch, and then I finally die. Then much later in the game, after I've beaten it and all the DLC, I go back to the area and the drowners, and then you just whack them with one sword swing. They die instantly. Ooh, so satisfying.
Yeah, I remember seeing a great meme where it's Geralt just looks tired, and it's Geralt in The Witcher 1, and he's like, fucking drowners. And there's just a bunch of drowners, and he's like, I hope there aren't drowners in the next game. And then there's just more drowners, and he's like, fucking drowners. And then it cuts to Witcher 3, and there's just a sea of drowners around him, and he just looks miserable. And I'm like, that's accurate, dude.
That is. Oh, they showed a teaser for Witcher 4.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't in game, so
Yeah.
it's hard to judge like a value judgment on a CG trailer.
There's apparently there's a lot of controversy because Ciri is a Witcher now.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, they said they're gonna write it in the story, but like I don't know, it feels like a downgrade. Because like Ciri can literally freaking teleport.
Yeah.
She's super OP in Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. She's literally the MacGuffin for the plot because she's so goddamn strong.
Exactly.
So then they like downgrade her to being a normal Witcher. You're like, she could just instantly kill most of these things in 3. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna make me play Ciri. I want to be Ciri.
Because like Ciri reminds me a lot of the Superman problem in game development, where it's like, what do? Do you scale Superman down or do you scale the enemies up?
Yeah.
And so it makes me not curious, but I'm like, I am concerned like from a gameplay perspective and game development perspective, which direction are they taking?
Sounds like they're scaling her down because they made her a normal Witcher using signs, which is again a little weird because she's much more adept at magic than that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's gonna be an in plot or in universe reason why she lost her powers or something.
Yeah. And then I mean, I'm not sure if Witcher 4 is going to be a continuation of the books. Like,
no,
I
doubt it.
Let me rephrase. The Witcher game series is an adaptation of the books, but like they did take a very different direction with the Wild Hunt.
Yeah, I say it's a continuation of the books because the first game essentially picks up where the final book ends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've read the books. They're really good.
Oh, okay.
They're nice. They're easy and digestible because they're small and they're really grounded. They do a good job of writing the world and the characters in a very grounded sense where no matter how much magic or monsters there are, it's always based on like genuine human emotion, and all the characters do things and act in ways that make sense.
Gotcha. So I guess okay. Well, with that in mind, well then I get because I think they've already confirmed that Geralt is going to be in Witcher 4, but he's not. I don't know if he's going to be playable or not.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, I wonder how that'll work.
Yeah,
be like an old fart.
I don't know because like in The Witcher 3, because I'm pretty sure because it has 2 expansion packs. Hearts of Stone and then Blood and Wine. Hearts of Stone, I'm pretty sure it's not clear when that takes place within the story of the games.
Yeah, it's just like a one-off quest that could have happened anywhere in the game.
And then Blood and Wine
is definitely the end, the post-game.
Yeah, it's definitely, hey, Geralt's defeated the Wild Hunt at this point and rescued Ciri.
Yeah, he deserves some rest.
Yeah, so then he goes to Toussaint and has to fight fucking vampires.
Hell yeah.
So, okay, so let me tell you a true story about my first playthrough of Witcher 3. Very first playthrough. Mm-hmm. I thought I was gonna have more opportunities to romance Triss or Yennefer in the game, but like during the key moments where the game's like, hey, if you're like, you gotta do this now or you're not doing it, or you have to go with the other person. I didn't do that.
Oh.
And so the way this ties into Blood and Wine is that you know this already. Whoever you romanced in the main game shows up at Geralt's villa
to essentially live with you or hang out with you, spend some time with you.
But I didn't do that, so Ciri comes and visits him.
Yeah, and it's really well done too. That scene's great.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Geralt's getting a visit from his adopted daughter now that she's safe and whatnot. Because obviously there is a version of Witcher 3 that ending where Ciri's dead. Yeah. So spoilers, I didn't get that ending because I just said Ciri.
Yeah, I wonder what happens if you don't romance anyone and Ciri dies in the main quest. Like, what do you?
That's a good question.
Who shows up? It's probably it's got to be like Dandelion or something.
I think it is actually.
Yeah, it's got to be like one of the other friends.
Although, hey, having your homeboy come and visit you and you're just rock a new path, that's all right. That's chill.
Well, that's the power of the game is that all the characters are great because in the books they're all fantastic too. Yeah, books are so well done. So the fact that they were really able to translate those characters' personalities to the games like really well is fantastic. Yeah, because they're all likable. Like when you're playing the game, you're like, Dandelion is my actual friend. Yeah, Zoltan, my actual friend. I genuinely feel a camaraderie with him.
So I'm not sure if this is my autism talking but it's so I jumped into the Witcher series at 3. Like I didn't play 1, I didn't play 2. I knew that the books existed. I hadn't read any of them. Mm-hmm. So like Doug Cockle's performance, who for those who don't know, he is the English voice actor for Geralt, his performance is very intentionally, don't get me wrong, like this isn't because he's a bad voice actor, but it's intentionally very neutral.
Yes.
And so whenever Geralt was interacting with Zoltan, with Dandelion and whatnot, it was hard. I almost didn't buy the fact that they were friends.
Oh, okay.
Not because of not because Doug Cockle's performance was bad, but because Geralt is so gravelly and neutral throughout the game. It's like, ugh. It's rare when Geralt actually inflects, and that's when I'm like, okay, Geralt's either stressed about Ciri, or he's pissed at something,
Mm-hmm.
So
that's fair. Yeah, that is his character a lot of the time. But yeah, I can see how that could be difficult, especially if you didn't play 1 or 2, or read the books, and you just jump straight into 3.
Yeah, like, oh, and I also didn't know that. I don't care. This is a spoiler for a 10-plus-year-old game series.
That's fine.
So in my first playthrough, I didn't encounter this, but Letho from Witcher 2, he can show up in Witcher 3, and he can become your ally when the Wild Hunt attacks Kaer Morhen. That didn't happen in my playthrough. I never ran into him.
Oh, man, Letho's great, too.
So I'm just like, wait, hold on. What?
Yeah.
And this is just a minor complaint I have, but... So you know those 3 crones / witches that are ugly as sin, so kudos to the game designers for that. But you know how, like, they have one of Ciri's medallions, and, like, they tell you, hey, we have the medallions, fuck you, Geralt, and then they just fuck off.
Yeah.
You can only go and kill them if Ciri is dead.
Yeah, it's like their last hurrah, where, like, Geralt's committing essentially suicide by bum rushing the witch in the swamp.
Well, as far as I thought it was like, hey, like Geralt's going to those crones because like, hey, this is the last thing I have of my adopted daughter and she's dead. I'm gonna kill it, like, hand it over. I'm gonna kill you. The crones are like, hey, fuck you, Geralt, and then Geralt just kills him. I didn't realize that was a suicide mission.
Yeah, it kind of heavily implies that Geralt dies at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, because he locks himself in the crone's house as like everything in the swamp comes into the front door to kill him.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a last stand sort of thing.
Oh, that really is the bad ending. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it's grim.
I do wish though in the post game, if Ciri's alive, I do wish you could go to that swamp and be like, hey, I want my medallion back.
Yeah, and fight the witch. Yeah, because you just leave her there and you're like, I should probably kill her too.
Either A, fight the witch, or B, like haggle with her and be like, all right, if you're like, all right, I don't want to kill you because that'd be a really hard fight, or like, let me do a quest for you, or do you want a specific monster part, or do you want like a fucking fuck ton of gold or something?
Yeah,
they give us, but we didn't have that option. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I guess that's
so good.
That is one of the issues of like branching paths. Like in Witcher 2, that was a really big one. There's 2 paths that you get one decision at one point that like splits you down 2 different paths.
Oh,
and the paths go to completely different areas and are very different.
Yeah, you go with either Roche or that Scoia'tael person, right?
Yeah, it's Stinky Elf.
Okay, let me ask you. In my game playthrough of Witcher 3, granted, is only 1. In my playthrough of Witcher 3, like the Scoia'tael weren't that much of a presence in the game. In your playthroughs, are they a bigger presence?
No. I think that was one of the issues that people had with Witcher 3 is that Irileth and the Scoia'tael essentially just aren't in the game.
Ah, okay.
And it's like, so if you side with Irileth in Witcher 2, you don't really get a payoff for that in Witcher 3. Whereas Roach is obviously in the game.
Oh, heavily.
And he's great.
Yeah, he's... there's... Yeah, then... Is Dijkstra in Witcher 2?
Yes, Dijkstra is in the books and Witcher 2 and Witcher 3.
Okay, because Dijkstra, like...
Is he in the Witcher 2? He's gotta be. Actually, now I think about it, maybe Dijkstra isn't in the Witcher 2. I feel like he should be, but he might not be. But he's definitely he's a very prominent character in the books.
Okay, gotcha. Because I love it how throughout at least my playthrough Witcher 3, Dijkstra's just like, fuck you, Geralt, you're such a piece of shit, I hate you. But the very end of the game's like, hey, Geralt, you want to help us kill King Radovid?
Yeah, Dijkstra is great, too. He's like that in the books, too, where like every time he interacts with Geralt, you get this weird, almost like rivalry, but in a friendly way where they kind of seem to like each other. And then Geralt breaks his leg. I can't remember the context. Geralt needed something from him, and Geralt's like, I will break your fucking leg. And he does.
Oh.
But yeah, the character writing is just so well done in The Witcher. I can't stress enough. Like, especially transitioning from the novels to the games, like, everyone just feels so engaging. Regis is my favorite character, so when they brought him back in the DLC, I was so happy.
I liked Regis in Blood and Wine.
He is fantastic in the Witcher novels, because at first they don't know he's a vampire, and he's just being like really friendly and helpful, and then finally Geralt's like, he's a vampire. And Geralt's like, get the fuck away from us, don't talk to us, leave us alone. And it's after Regis saves them all.
Wait, Geralt does this?
Yeah, because Geralt's like, you're a fucking vampire. I don't want to hang out with a vampire. You're going to kill one of us. And which is fair. He's a vampire. And then Regis is like, oh, calm down, Geralt. And then even Dandelion and Shawnee, is Shawnee there? Maybe it's Yennefer. I can't remember. All the characters are just like, Geralt, calm the fuck down. Quit clutching your pearls, you big bitch. And then Regis leaves, and then later, I think Dandelion gets injured, and Regis just immediately appears to help bandage his wounds. And he's like, oh, I've been following you guys the whole time. And Geralt gets super mad, and everyone has to have like a come to Jesus moment with him. Being like, Geralt, you need to calm down. Regis is clearly nice. He's our friend. He doesn't drink blood. He keeps saying he doesn't drink blood. And then there's like an awkward conversation where Dandelion starts like prying about what it's like to be a vampire, and then Regis just goes off on like a super long autistic tangent about being a vampire and all these neat things, and he just won't stop yammering about it. And you're like, what a great fucking character. Where he's like super cool, super friendly, also a vampire, but also like he can be a little annoying because he just loves talking about it.
Because like I'm kind of surprised that that's Geralt's attitude towards Regis, because in Blood and Wine, yeah, Geralt has some skepticism towards Regis, but like overall their interactions are friendly.
Oh, it's because they become bros in the novels. Like that's their first initial interaction, but Regis is like there till the very end of him trying to help Ciri.
Oh, okay.
So like they are besties in the novel.
I wish there was a way you could get Regis to help you fight in Kaer Morhen in the base game.
Right, that would be cool. It would make sense too.
Because like you could still, because like you, and like the Wild Hunt is such a force where you can write that to where the Wild Hunt still win. Well, they don't win. Like Ciri's powers just get activated and the Wild Hunt has to retreat.
Yeah,
like you can still have that, and with Regis being there.
Yeah, I mean it'd be kind of hard. I mean they obviously just probably didn't have Regis like written into the story at this point.
Yeah.
Because spoilers, he dies in the novels.
Oh.
But he like.
Man.
He's a vampire. So, like, the novels make it very clear, like, you can't really kill a vampire no matter what. Really? So a wizard disintegrates his ass.
Oh.
And then Geralt's like, oh, fuck, maybe you can kill vampires. Regis is dead. And then when he shows up, Geralt's super surprised, because last time we saw him, he literally got disintegrated. And it turns out that won't even kill a vampire. Like, in universe, vampires are genuinely unkillable unless they're killed by another vampire, which they never do.
Yeah,
so Geralt doesn't take contracts for vampires. That comes up in the novel where he's like, no, witchers don't try to kill vampires. You can't.
Yeah, because, like, in Blood and Wine, Regis' whole thing is like, Geralt, I need you to help me kill Detloff, but, like there's only someone, like, I have to be the one to, like, put him down permanently.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That is okay, I'm just going to say that. Detloff was a difficult, I thought it was hard.
Yeah,
off the boss
it was a pretty tough fight. There's some tricks, though, you learn if you, like, play it enough. That was another thing I really like with The Witcher 3 is there's, like, secret tricks, like, when Detloff flies at you, you can throw a bomb, and it'll blow him out of the sky, and he'll crash, which gives you time to, like, wail on him for a bit. And I never knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know that
because it felt
either.
like one of those scripted events where you're like, you're going to dodge him charging you. No, you can blast him right out of the sky.
Did you ever use crossbows in Witcher 3?
They were kind of hard to use.
Yeah.
Like, if you get the slow-mo perk, you have enough time to aim and shoot, but for the most part, they weren't worth the time.
Gotcha.
I pretty much just used bombs and potions.
Yeah, because you talked about just bombing Detloff out of a flying enemy out of the sky. So I'm just wondering, okay, well, what if you just had bomb arrows for a crossbow?
That might work. I never tried. I know you can blast them out of the sky with Igni and with bombs, which is funny. The Witcher games do this one thing. In the books, it makes it clear that vampires are immune to fire. That's how they found out Regis is a vampire. He picks up like a hot iron out of a fire to save a woman who's being hung for being a witch.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It makes sense in the scene.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt him because vampires are immune to fire.
Huh.
But then in the games, they're all weak to fire, and you're like, oh, let's get that backwards, guys. But they need to be weak to something because you do fight vampires. And like, even though the books make it clear you can't kill a vampire, the games obviously let you kill vampires, or else the game wouldn't work.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's the point now?
God, I could go on about The Witcher 3. It's like one of the best games ever made.
Okay.
If not the best.
It's up there. If in Hearts of Stone, what ending did you get? Did you let Gauntro Dim take Olgierd's soul, or did you side with Olgierd?
Absolutely not. I saved Olgierd.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you let David Beckham die. You let the devil take David Beckham's soul.
That's David Beckham's the voice actor for that?
No, he just looks like David Beckham.
I guess. I forget what David Beckham looks like, but
Looks like Olgierd.
well, I mean, my thing, I think my reasoning at the time was that like Gaunter O'Dim is like, hey, Olgierd's not a good person by any stretch of the imagination,
True.
and he's not wrong. So
Yeah, I mean, even before Gaunter or Dim got involved, Olgierd was part of like raiding parties and killed innocent people.
And so that's why I was like, yeah, I don't like. I think my rationale at the time was like, yeah, I'm not happy about Gaunter taking his soul, but Olgierd's not a good person, so all right.
My rationality was that like I had two options, like dickhead nobility who got his kicks being like a raider, or literally Satan.
Oh, so you think he's the Satan?
Gaunter O'Dim is totally Satan.
Yeah.
You meet him at a crossroads at midnight. He grants people's wishes, but they're on these like sketchy contracts where he takes their soul.
Oh, Faustian agreements for sure.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's definitely Satan coded.
Satan coded, what a phrase. Yeah, I think my mentality was also, hey, it's probably better. I didn't realize you could beat Gaunter. Like, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, well, it's cool because if you help Gaunter take Olgierd's soul, it's written really well, and you get a genuinely great reward. He'll either tell you how to save Ciri's life at the end of the game, or he'll give you a crazy amount of money, or he'll give you this thing that gives you infinite food. And you're like, those are all genuinely good rewards.
Yeah.
With no strings attached.
Exactly. So, like, it's not like you don't have... It's like there's no reason to side with Gaunter. If there is, it's just, what do you know, where do you...
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that's great about The Witcher 3 writing, is that in every situation, your decisions as a player make sense.
Yeah.
They never feel like you are changing Geralt as a character. They're all kind of written in a way that are fitting. Like, there's one mission in Novigrad where some guards are found desiccated. And they think like a wizard burnt them to death. Turns out it was a succubus who fucked them to death. Well, not exactly true. She burnt one of them to death with fireball magic. And she said that she was defending herself. And so she's like adamant that she was just trying to live her life and they were trying to kill her and she was defending herself. But if you put the pieces together, it's like, okay, you murdered 3 different individuals in alleyways at different parts of the town on different days. These guys did not try to kill you. You seduced them and murdered them. They weren't trying to hurt you. And so like you could side with her and let her live or kill her, or, you know, force her to leave town. And they all make sense. Yeah. Like, they all fit. They're all morally kind of gray choices. And I love that about the writing. That, like, no matter what choice you make, it always fits.
Did you throw the baby into the oven?
Oh, absolutely. I trusted that lady.
Yeah, I did too. Like,
you told me to do it, deal.
Yeah, although I can very much understand why a player would be like, what? I have to do this? What's going on here?
Well, and if you don't put the baby in the oven, you get this insanely cool boss fight with the hymn. Yeah. Which is, I think, the only time you ever fight a hymn in the game. Yeah. And maybe there's one other mission. But, like, it's a unique event that you get to experience.
Yeah, and if you throw the baby in the oven, and now that I know that, hey, you can fight the hymn, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go back and not throw the baby into the oven. Yeah, because you still solve the problem the Witcher way by just fighting the hymn. Exactly. It's like, okay, this is dope. Oh, and I just want to talk about the atmosphere of that mission for a bit, because when you step in the house, it's all dark and creepy. Gloomy, and like, oh, like you could just tell, yeah, there's an evil presence here. And then if you go back in the house after the mission, no matter which way you solve it, it's like, oh, yeah, it's just a normal house. It makes sense. Did you you played Blood and Wine, right? Yeah. Did you do the mission with the person who's cursed to be like a hag, and you have to lift the curse by eating soup with them? I can't remember because apparently there's a lot of Blood and Wine that I missed. Like, apparently Geralt gets thrown in jail at one point. Dandelion busts him out. That never happened in my playthrough. Oh yeah, that's the end of the game actually. Okay. That's if you let Dettlaff kill Serana. I must not have let Dettlaff do that because I did not end up in jail, and Dettlaff did not break me out. So Princess apparently doesn't like you letting her sister, friends? I can't remember, get murdered by Dettlaff. So she throws you in prison, then Dandelion talks to the princess and convinces her to let you out. That never happens. Because they know each other from the books. Yeah, that never happens in my playthrough. And also, that's just the most Dandelion thing ever. You're like, oh, Dandelion sleeps around. Yeah. This would help benefit Geralt in some way. Accurate, correct, yeah. I just love that Dandelion's a hack, too. It makes it clear in the books, too, that he's not a very good bard or poet. He just steals other people's work, and he's extremely famous and well-regarded, even though he is a fucking hack. I I think in the character library where you can like see their bios and whatnot in the Witcher 3 game, like the quote from Geralt about Dandelion, Geralt's like, Dandelion, you're a piece of shit human being, but you're also my best friend.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, by God, how accurate that statement is.
The scene in Kaer Morhen with him and Geralt and Lambert. Do you remember that one where like Lambert is making fun of Geralt for the trailer, the Killing Monsters trailer? He's like, "Oh, I'm killing monsters," and he's like, "Lambert, you want to hear a limerick? Lambert, what a prick." It's such good dialogue.
I love
like,
that.
oh man, they wrote like male relationships perfectly.
But I love that scene so much.
Oh, and they all get drunk and cross-dress and start using the sorcerer's portal to talk to other sorceresses.
Wait, what?
You didn't get that?
No!
Oh, if you drink a bunch with the boys at Kaer Morhen, you all get drunk and get the idea like, let's go up to Yennefer's room and use her port crystal to talk to other sorceresses. Oh, but they won't talk to us because we're not sorcerers. So let's steal Yennefer's clothing and dress up like sorceresses. So they're all cross-dressing as sorcerers, calling other sorceresses, and they're like, what the fuck are you calling me for? And they're clearly shit-faced and in drag.
Oh god, I gotta replay this game.
It's so funny. Yennefer comes in on you doing that, and you're like, oh, hey, Yen. And Yen's like, I don't even want to know.
I need to play this game. In fact, I'm gonna go play this game right now, folks. That was another episode of the Sperging Out Podcast. I'm Mitch Grace. My book, Growing Up with Asperger's: Lessons Learned and Shareable Wisdom, Audible, paperback, Kindle form. It's on Amazon right now. Co-host extraordinaire, thanks for being here.
It's been fun.
See y'all next time. Bye.